Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker with Terrible Home Care. Very glad you are joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And as we look back here at the recent anniversary of Hurricane Ida, we like to check in, especially with some of those people who always have boots on the ground. Welcome back to the program, Chief Dana Coleman, Houma Police Department. Thanks for being here, Chief.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. And very few people had the impact to their organization and to their people like you guys did. Let's just talk a little bit about what this 1 year anniversary means for you guys and where we are.
Well, it's amazing. It's kind of funny that you bring that up, this 1 year anniversary, because we was actually in my office this morning talking about it. We was like in awe that, wow, it's been a year already that Ida hit, and it seemed like it was just yesterday.
Just
yesterday.
Yeah. And so for so many people, I think just my wife brings it up all the time, and my birthday falls on the 30th. So my birthday is one day after Katrina, one day after Ida. And for me, I couldn't agree with you more. It does not feel like a year, especially with the slow recovery, if you will.
It doesn't feel like a year. And you talk about the slow recovery, but I must say the recovery may seem slow to some of our citizens in the community, but just looking at other cities adjacent to us, like I'm gonna just stretch out to Lake Charles, looking at that city who was struck by 2 hurricanes back to back. I mean, we're well ahead of the recovery process in Lake Charles.
Right.
But just to, go outside of the city of Houma, visit other cities that weren't affected, and come back, and you can still see the effects of Hurricane Ida, and it's been a year. And I mean, it's just amazing. But, I trust in the leadership of our government, and that we're on a path to getting Houma back in order.
Right, and so it's one of those things where we look differently, our city looks different, but the resiliency of the people is the one thing that hasn't changed, and the resiliency of you and your staff as well. Let's talk a little bit about what they went through.
Man, just to most of a good bit of our law enforcement officers, with us and the sheriff's office, were affected by Ida.
Right.
To see these individuals come to you and tell you, Chief, I lost everything, but still, putting on the uniform to come to work, to protect and serve. I mean, my heart just goes out to them. And as a leader within this community, you have them, boots on the ground doing that job, and you're sitting and you're trying to figure out, how can I make things easier for them? So what we did, we pulled some resources together while they were out working, protecting the citizens of our community and their property and stuff. There were some agencies that reached out to us wanting to know who was affected, and I must say the community came together. Those outside of our community came together and really pulled and brought some resources for our officers that were affected.
And it's one of those things where people who do what you do, people that work directly for you, never expect that somebody else is going to do for them. I'm sure that they were a bit overwhelmed and probably had a tough time accepting those things.
Yes. They bend over backwards for our community,
Yes,
and just to see that, one hand reaching across the table, now they're in need of help. And police officers, they, men or women, they strong, they determined. But just to see someone come to their aid, it was just an array of emotions, and just to have the privilege just to be a witness of that, tears of joy.
Sure.
Just to see that here I'm out here risking my life and protecting and serving on a daily basis, and someone actually thought about me.
Right. And so we talk about that risk, and you guys it was a tough time. Ida was a tough time. But that echoes the leadership that you and your team have about making sure that you're taking care of the people who are taking care of our citizens. And,
yes, sir.
And that just, again, we appreciate that very, very much. And it's hard for us on our end to know what it's like to be able to really put those boots on the ground to take care of others. And you guys did it. They guys and girls never really hesitated. Men and women came to work every day, didn't miss time, and just did what they needed to do to take care of the community.
Correct. They did. They got together, joined hand in hand, did what they had to do to take care of the community. And one thing that happened with our department that devastated our department, we lost an officer during Hurricane Ida. His name is Austin Spencer Bush.
Right.
He died in a accident. We had another officer, Tristan Johnson, who was involved in an accident during Hurricane Ida as well. We almost lost him. Thank God, he's recovered from his injuries and back at work. But unfortunately, Austin lost his life, and that devastated our department. He was the first officer in the history of our department that lost his life in the line of duty. And along with his family, we band with his family, we mourn with his family.
Right.
We showed him a lot of love. They showed us a lot of love, and we're linked for life now.
Well, and it's a credit to you and your organization to be able to move forward with that and continue to protect and serve. I know that was a very difficult time, but that's what family does.
Correct.
And that's what HPD is.
Correct.
Home Police Department is a family. They take care of each other. And so just got a few seconds left. Chief, just if you can kind of tell us how positive we are about moving forward at this 1 year and what good things we have coming.
We are very positive about moving forward. Like I said, I trust in the leadership of our parish officials. And that we will bring Houma back. Not only the leadership of our officials, the people that live and work and breathe in the city of Houma, the parish of Terrebonne. I mean, you talk about resilience, we define that.
I know that's right. Chief, can't thank you enough for coming on.
Yes,
I appreciate
sir.
sharing the updates with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
for having me.
All right, guys, and that will do it for this particular segment of Bayou Time. Don't go anywhere. A lot more Bayou Time when we return here on HTV.